Fannie Mae ANSI update number 139, page 90. Include photographs of the completed improvements attached to the permanent foundation. Note, if the original or alternative documentation cannot be obtained for both the data plate / compliance certificate and the certification label, the loan is not eligible for delivery to Fannie Mae. For information regarding methods of alternative documentation and eligibility considerations, CB2-3-02, Special Property Eligibility and Underwriting Considerations, Factory-Built Housing. Manufactured Housing Appraisal Site Requirements. The appraisal site requirements for manufactured housing are as follows. The appraiser must base his or her opinion of value on the characteristics of the subject property, including the site area. The appraisal report must indicate whether or not the site is compatible with the neighborhood and must comment on the conformity of the manufactured home to other manufactured homes in the neighborhood. The property site must be of a size, shape, and topography that is conforming and acceptable in the neighborhood. It must also have competitive utilities, street improvements, adequate vehicular access, and other amenities. Because amenities, easements, and encroachments may either detract from or enhance the marketability of a site, the appraiser must reflect them in his or her analysis and valuation. The appraiser must comment if the site has adverse conditions or is not typical for the neighborhood. Manufactured housing appraisal comparable selection requirements. The comparable selection requirements for manufactured housing appraisals are as follows. The appraiser must select comparable sales of similar manufactured homes to address the marketability and comparability of a manufactured home. For example, multi-width homes to multi-width homes. The appraiser must use a minimum of 2 comparable sales of similar manufactured homes. The appraiser may use either site-built housing or a different type of factory-built housing as the third comparable sale. The appraiser must explain why site-built housing or a different type of factory-built housing is being used for the third comparable sale, and make and support appropriate adjustments in the appraisal report. An appraiser that is unable to locate sales of manufactured homes that are truly comparable to the subject property may decide it is appropriate to use either older sales of similar manufactured homes or sales of similar manufactured homes that are located in a competing. Page 91. Neighborhood, to establish a baseline for the sales comparison analysis and determined sound adjustments to reflect the differences between comparable sales that are available and the subject property. The appraiser must not create comparable sales by combining vacant land sales with the contract purchase price of the home. This type of information may be used as additional supporting documentation. CB 4-1-3-08. Comparable sales for general requirements regarding comparable selection. Manufactured housing appraisal cost approach requirements. Fannie Mae requires a detailed and supported cost approach to value for all manufactured homes, which must, at a minimum, contain the information indicated on the Form 1004C. The appraiser may choose to report the results of the cost approach on Form 1004C or by using a report from a published cost service as an addendum to the appraisal report form. Whatever format the appraiser chooses to report the cost approach, the information must be sufficient to allow the lender to replicate the cost figures and calculations. The sales comparison and cost approach to value are complementary for the valuation of manufactured housing and must support the final value conclusion. A properly developed and detailed cost approach will provide the information necessary for an appraiser to recognize differences in manufactured home construction quality, understand the difference between the comparable sales and the subject property, extract from the market appropriate adjustments for the sales comparison analysis, and identify sales of manufactured homes that are similar enough to the subject property to use as comparable sales. Sources of manufactured housing data. Traditional appraisal data sources do not provide enough quality manufactured home data for the appraiser to develop a supportable and well-documented manufactured home appraisal. While sources such as MLS and public records are important and may contain some data, appraisers must utilize other data sources, such as manufactured home dealers and construction companies/builders experienced in the installation of manufactured homes. One important source of manufactured housing information is the NADA Manufactured Housing Appraisal Guide, that publication.